Good evening, YouTube. This is Kaylin String coming at you with my regular Sunday night dinner. And tonight I have chosen to open up this French RIER, which is an exercise ration, or could be a training ration. Probably the closest you could come to it for an American ration would be the totem or tailored operational training meal. And those usually have fewer calories, maybe fewer components. And this one is the same type of thing. Let's see, Booger Butt and Booger Butt in the house. There's Dub C. Thanks for dropping in. I do not see a production date on here, but a best before of April 4 of, April 24th of 22. So I got this last year, and at the time that I got it, Aletha and I were going to do a collab review on it because she had an identical one. Somehow she happened for her, and we're not able to do that. So she just said to go ahead and do it when I feel like it. So I decided to do it tonight. I got a pot on the stove. I'm going to use my to open up the cover up the box. A little bit thinner plastic maybe than might be on the standard RCIR. There's Huga Homestead in the house, so get rid of the plastic. And I just have a Walgreens bag. And this box does not open in the way that the RCIR opens. You don't have any pull tabs. You just open this little thing and then lift up the lid. There's everything neatly packed. They're tending to do with their rations. They pack them very neatly. So biscuits to campaign, or like army biscuits. These are just the salted biscuits or salted crackers. Get the There's James Ortiz in the house. A 70% cacao dark chocolate bar. I'm very excited about that. This is a caramel dessert, like a pudding. I don't know much French, and I have issues trying to use Google Translate, so I can't pick up on this one. But because this box said without pork, I'm confident that it will either be beef. I know it's not beef because I know that word. It could be a fish, or it could be chicken, I'm not sure. And then the main is, see, that's the word boeuf is beef. So this is beef lasagna. And then there you have one little packet. This actually has coffee in it. I was not expecting any drink of any kind, so I had pulled out something. Then you get the standard tissue pack that you would find in the French RCIR, the full size. But then you get this mini stove. So it's a mini Esbit stove. And you get the trash bag. There's Wyoming in the house thanks for dropping in. And they have a little piece of tape to keep it folded up. So I will leave it that way. You get 3 fuel tabs. And inside this little Ziploc bag, you get a mini match box, but it still has the Eiffel Tower on this side, and then the Arc de Triomphe on this side. So in a little Ziploc bag. I like that these are protected this way. That way it keeps the matches dry. So you got the striker on one side. So your standard stick matches. So those are very cool. So I'm going to put those back in the box. Then I'll put the fuel tabs in there because obviously I'm not going to use those. And this one, you just fold these 2 sides up. I'm not going to do that. I want to keep it flat because, you know, I attend to stores. There is John's Emery in the house. And then this is the handle to pick up the can. And what you would do is you would fold these sides in. I'm not going to do it that, but you fold it in, and then what it would do is you would hook this on the, oops, sorry about that. You would hook this on, and even just one side, you can actually hold the can to lift it up off of your heat source. So how cool is that? And plus these are sharp enough you could rip sparks off a ferro rod with this. I've tested it with some of the other French can holders. So I think that's pretty darn cool that you could use this as a ferro rod striker. So I was not expecting a coffee in here because I didn't think this came with any drinks at all. So I had pulled just your commercial English breakfast tea. There's Angry Blacksmith here. So I guess I can put this tea bag back. I'll just throw it in the ration box for now. So got the coffee packet. This is a generic coffee packet. It's not branded with any company. I'll throw the trash bag in there too because obviously I'm not going to use that. Same with the tissues, but I save all these things. But I want a cold drink. I'm going to move that off to the side because I'm going to mix up a cold drink. I just grabbed one of my US drinks that I'm going to mix up. I got a bunch of these, so I'm going to mix it in the bag this time. Key to this, zip it, make sure it's close, and then you fold it a couple of times just to make sure that it's sealed in case you didn't get a good zip on it. And I like to put a little bit less water when I'm mixing in the pouch, just to give more room to shake it. That's just how I do it, and it seems to work. So that's nowhere near enough water. Then I just add a little bit more. It may take extra time, but I'll still give it a good mix, because I like to mix these first before I do anything else. You still got that clumpiness, that stuff. These just do not mix very well. See all that extra stuff? Anyway, I am going to go put this in the pot. And I will, actually before I do that, I'll go ahead and do the coffee. Unless you'd rather see me do the tea and just hold on to this coffee. There's the Carlos Perry in the house. Yeah, it's going to be in the 90s all week here in Des Moines. See, this does not come with creamer and sugar, so I put some of each in this little thing. I'll go ahead and do the coffee. It's a freeze-dried coffee. Oh, cool. Anyway, I'll go put this in the pot and I'll be right back. Yeah, someone commented in the Ration group that I post in that this is one that, or no, it was on the community tab when I posted that I would be doing this one. Someone commented that they're very excited to see this one. I had not seen it before. then someone in the Facebook group also commented that it's one that's very hard to find. So now I got the coffee mixed up. I'm going to go ahead and open up these crackers first. Actually, before I do that, these have a Best Buy of August of 22. Nope, November 22. Sorry about that. See, this is the day, this is the month. So this November of 22. So that's pretty awesome. Get two packs of these. And they say Sale on each one to indicate that they're the salted crackers. This looks like a raspberry. This one looks like it took a bit of a hit. This end got a little bit squished. It's supposed to look like that end, but that's okay. It'll still be good. I have had this dessert before. It's like a sponge cake in a caramel sauce. Something on the order of what the Brits would call a pudding. Instead of the pudding as we know it. You know, like the Jell-O puddings. Oh, bugger, John. That's a crapper. I'm going to open up this pate. This looks like it has some kind of seasoning in it, the little speckles. That's your little air pockets. It smells kind of smoky. There is sunshine side of life in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Whoa, this is seriously bloomed. It should be this dark. But it feels... Still got a good snap. It's still dark on the inside. So this is still perfectly fine chocolate. It's just bloomed on the outside. I'll still enjoy it. I'm going to move my drink closer. I'm just going to close the ration box. That way I can just grab it for those that come in late. Oops, upside down. I can just show what it is. Again, this is the French exercise ration that I was supposed to do a collab review with Aletha, but because life happened, we decided, she just said to go ahead and do it on my own time. Yeah, that's what others have said that. In fact, someone said coveted because apparently this is highly sought after. And for me to get this, yeah, I'm really excited about it. So I am going to go ahead. I'm curious about this pate. It's pretty dense. See, it's hard to scrape up with the cracker itself. It tastes smoky. I'm not sure what the meat is. I'm thinking it might be a poultry. I do not smell any fish at all. But this is too... See, it's kind of grainy. It's not smooth like another pate. Although the crackers are pretty stiff, they're quite soft, and they are definitely salty. Now I'll just do this with... give you a better look at the pate. I hope the light to the left helps. If it's too bright, I can turn it down. I'm guessing it could be like, I got more of a liver taste that time when I dug into it a little bit more. So I'm guessing it's either a chicken liver or a beef liver pate. Oops. I'm gonna... There, I turned the light level down a bit. I can also angle it down a bit more. So hopefully that'll help. That's one thing I like about having this night tour is I can adjust the light level. There are spicy tuna rolls in the house. Thanks for dropping in. I'm going to go get the lasagna and I'll be right back. I'm back with the lasagna. Get that out of the way. I'll turn it back the other way. Well, at least I got it open. I have to straddle it like this so I can pull on it. Get this paper. At least I'm going to get this thing off of here. There we go. Legit lasagna because it's got the big pasta all the way across, and this is the filling. I'm gonna have a taste of it by itself. Proper lasagna taste. The seasoning is right. It's got the herbs right. The pasta is easy to cut. It is very soft, but still it holds. Who would not want to be sitting in on a training session when it's lunchtime and you got this? So you can see that there's pasta underneath here. Lift that up. So it's got the layers that a true lasagna should have. It's not little bits of curly noodles mixed in with the meat sauce. Thanks for dropping in, John. I hope you kick that big nasty to the next galaxy. Yeah, that is some real bummer stuff going on. Yeah, we know too many people who had to deal with it. I feel blessed that no one in my family got it. So I'm happy about that, but I have friends here locally who had to deal with it. And there's puppy breath in the house. Oh, if there was a way I could share this, share the aroma and the taste of it, I mean, this lasagna is the stuff. I think the French company that made this probably had someone who is an expert in Italian cuisine do this. I mean, look what's all in this filling. That's just not meat and sauce. There is tomato in there. And Viper's in the house. Thanks for dropping in. So if you can get your paws on this RIER, show the box again. Yeah, I highly recommend it. I'm so glad that Aletha was able to get a hold of these. Yeah, Viper is here. He snuck in through the cat door. Even though this pate is not as hospitable as you would think of a pate, it's still really good. Unfortunately, the crackers are soft. They don't actually taste old, they're just soft. So I don't know if it's because they got exposed to heat at one point, but they're still perfectly fine. And this had coffee in it, which I didn't think it had any drinks. So I had to tease back up. But it comes creamer and sugar, so I added my own. It's your typical freeze-dried coffee. It's pretty good. The French do put some decent coffees in their rations. There's no cold drink in this one. This one actually mixed up pretty good. So maybe shaking it in a bag in the way that I do probably helps. There's Bones Yard in the house. Thanks for dropping in. I'm having a French ration that has Italian lasagna in it. And it's a legit lasagna. There's Gardening Warrior Q in the house, probably getting a drink or maybe a snack because I'm probably making someone hungry. Again, you can see the layers in there like the lasagna is supposed to be. I just chose to leave it in the can because it would be so hard to get it out and still keep its proper form. Yep. Depending on the day, sometimes I watch a review when it's my lunch or dinner time. Or in the evening, I might have a snack while watching reviews. Sometimes I don't. Just depends on what time of the day it is. The only thing I have to criticize about this lasagna is the pop tab on the can popped off. So maybe they need to make these a little bit stronger because you have to put a lot of force into opening these things. Yeah, remember when you first go into a live stream or a premiere, the default chat setting is top chat, and that filters out some of the comments. So you have to switch it to live chat every time you go in there. Otherwise, you'll just miss a whole bunch of stuff. If I was doing this on my Kindle, which I always have the desktop version of the site up, I could switch it to live chat and I could actually put in chat, but because I'm on my phone, I can't actually type in comments. But that's okay because if I got messy fingers, I wouldn't want to be doing that anyway. Dang, I just can't stop eating this stuff, but I'm gonna keep eating this. I'm guessing either chicken liver. I'm leaning towards chicken liver. Yeah, this. Oh, I'm guessing it looked like a raspberry. On the wrapper. Go ahead and give it a taste. Yeah, raspberry. And it has a bit of that raspberry tartness that you want to have. You don't want to have it so sweet that you can't taste the actual fruit flavor. Yeah, I really enjoy these bars too. For a soldier out in the field, it's a great morale booster, especially if you've had a hard day and you're just finding time to take a meal break. Or if you don't eat it during your meal break, but you eat it at another time during the day just to give yourself a little boost. And it'll be the same with the chocolate. See, it's very heavily bloomed on the outside, but the inside is still nice and dark, and it had a good solid snap to it when I broke it apart. Awesome dark chocolate flavor. The blooming really doesn't hurt it at all. There, I'll lean it up on a jelly bar so you can actually see the color of the inside a little bit. I think that helps. I just grabbed a U.S. Tropical Punch drink mix because I wanted to have an additional drink besides the coffee. And I didn't think there were any drinks in here, so I pulled just a commercial English breakfast tea out of my stash. I keep a bunch of tea bags that I can either just use at home or take camping, because sometimes when I'm camping, I might want to have a tea instead of a coffee. Or I keep cocoa mix bags in my camping food bag, which I always have stuff in there. Ooh, someone talking about an IMP. Oh, the smoked meat with the demi-glaze. There's two versions of that. There's the demi-glaze, and then there's the mustard sauce. The demi-glaze, I think someone read the ingredients on the bag, on the retort pouch that the entree comes in. It contains red wine. And the mustard sauce is the other version. I have never had the smoked meat, and I'm very interested in the one with the mustard sauce. And I'm assuming the way it looked, I watched a couple of reviews. It looks like brisket. I'm assuming that's the cut that is used for the smoked meat. Some people may not like the mustard sauce, but I like mustard flavoring. So I would probably really enjoy that one. I'm not into the wine sauces or anything like that. Another look at the filling in the sauce. And this is, and yeah, the pasta is soft. You're going to get that. But like I said, it held its shape well. But this is an awesome lasagna. So again, I highly recommend this one. If you can find it. Yeah, the French really know how to do ration food. And this has got to be one of the top French mains of all time. I haven't had near as many as other reviewers who have been doing it longer than I have, who have been able to get more foreign rations than I have. But out of those that I've had, this has got to be one at the top. It's almost up there with the ostrich and the cranberry sauce. That one is my absolute favorite. But this comes a very, very close second. That pretty much kills that. I'll continue to chow down on this as we chat. I'm just going back through the chat. Okay, just making sure I hadn't missed anything in the chat. Yeah, this phone mount is quite shaky. I can't seem to go through a stream without bumping it because the way I have it positioned and the way I have to bend it in order to get it the way I want. But I've had this thing for quite a few years. I got this before I started doing YouTube videos because I was doing some video calls with it with other people, and I wanted to be hands-free, especially if I was doing something while I was talking to whoever I was talking to in the video call. So that's why I got this thing. But it does work. There are phone mounts that are more of a fixed arm, and they work like a crane does, that has fixed length segments, and you bend it only at those joints. So if you're looking at one of those, like a backhoe, how there are several joints that connect the bucket to the cab, there are phone mounts that have jointed sections instead of one that's that you can bend almost like a wire. In fact, Sean has one of those that he's used in the Ration Museum streams when he's doing some of the object scanning, or when taking pictures of some of the items in the inventory. He has used that phone mount. So maybe one of these days I might invest in a phone mount that is a bit more rigid. Plus, this table that I'm doing this on is a folding camp table. But it does clamp on good. It's just a bit wobbly because, you know, just the nature of the thing. And this piece right here that you see is part of the phone holder. So if I want to get the view that I want and have as least obstruction from it as possible, I have to put it this way because of the way that I got this set up here. And I'm giving you another close-up of this pate, which is not a smooth pate. It's like if you've ever had the potted meat, which you can still get. It's made by Armour. I think Libby's makes one also. Or say the deviled ham. It's kind of this texture. But it's perfectly fine. It would just be a little bit better if the crackers are still more. Now this, and get the rest of this pate off of my spork. These rations do not come with utensils at all. So I'm going to dig into this so you can see the inside of it. Like a custard. Caramel sauce. Now this is really good. Well, I have an actual knockoff. I really haven't used it because I cannot take the footage from it and edit it right there and upload it. It's not one that can connect to the internet. I need to get memory. So I have a bunch of batteries. I got battery charger that can charge 2 batteries at once. I would like to get a mic for it. But I do want to get that out. And now, since I have the editor on the laptop, I just need to get memory cards for that camera and for my small hand. I have another handheld camera that has a flip out screen. But I need to get memory cards for that too. I just can't process big video files on it because the video editor on the phone will say not enough memory and I have to dump stuff. So now that I have the laptop and the open, I can dump the So again, thanks to Curious Pete for getting that laptop to Aletha and then brought it to me. Granted, it's not the best thing for me because of what I need to have. Top is out of the budget. Right now, they're the desktop just serves as an oversized power bank for charging stuff, and that's what I use it for. There is Mike in the house. Thanks for dropping in. There's RIER. Polish that off. Now I'm eating what I'm guessing is chicken liver pate. The box says sans pork, which means without pork. And this had a Best Buy at 22. Yeah, this is a 70%, but as you can see on the inside, still dark. And this is a raspberry fruit jelly bar. I'm just using it to prop up the chocolate bars, see the inside of it. These salty crackers. I opened one of the 2 packs. Soft. But they're still perfectly edible. When I was a kid, I used to be very picky about liver. You know, like we all were as kids. You taste buds experience more flavors. So this is actually a really good one. It's not too strong. In fact, it had a smoky aroma when I opened it. It was made with smoked livers. I don't know. I just get that from this. Elk liver has a slightly different taste than, say, beef liver or even deer liver, which I've but I have no clue about elk liver. I have never had anything like that. There is this is my dinner tonight. And as you can tell, the beef lasagna is out of here. I chowed that down in a hurry. Well, as far as streaming goes, without doing it on less than and that lasagna is a true lasagna. I would definitely be happy to get that if I was a soldier in the field or in a train. And it was handed to me. The coffee, typical French freeze-dried coffee, unbranded, so it's just in a rations. Oh, you get sugar in French rations, but not creamer. Yeah, that's what I did. I boiled the can, but I popped it, and I went to pull back on the tab. The tab came off. A paper towel. Well, I used the first paper towel I had to pull the lid back, and I just ate it out of the can instead of trying to get it out onto the tray. Of course, I dry the can off after I get it out. I get it back. And when I get it out of the pot that I boil it in, I just put it in this. I just grab a pair of tongs, drop it in there, then use this to carry it to the table, and I have a paper towel, and I dry it off before I open it. But that's the first time I've had after I got. There have been other reviewers who had to go to plan B when opening the French cans because they would go to pop the tab and the tab would come off before they got the lid to come up. So they had to get a can opener to open up the can in order to get at the food. To improve the pop tabs a little bit. That's the only complaint I have about this ration, other than the crackers being soft, but they're still perfectly fine. Cold drink for my stash. That comes in the shaker bag. But this caramel dessert, it has a slight. It reminds me of the British ginger pudding. I have always enjoyed this dessert. I've had it a couple other times. This is good stuff. So obviously I will be polishing this off. Sorry about that. Sometimes my feed gets a bit jerky. If you have to refresh, go ahead. Sometimes Sometimes I've had that issue with someone's feed being a bit messed up, but it would be totally on my end because of my connection. See, someone is leaving. Oh, Wyoming, thanks for dropping in. Yeah, that can be caused by all kinds of things. It could be a software issue on your provider's part. It could be weather conditions messing it up. It could be something physically contacting the cable and messing it up. We had that issue here in Des Moines last week with a software problem plus a hardware problem combined to make Mediacom's internet go wacko and even go down for part of the time. There was away from the source where all the signals come out of, their main location here. But it took some time for Mediacom to get that fixed, so who knows, was it a hack? Some burp that caused it to go haywire. Never did find that out. And who knows, maybe we won't know. But I seriously doubt anyone will get any credit on their bill for the service lost. The other thing was, it service e-service. I don't have a Mediacom phone, but I know people who do, and it was messed up. But anyone who had the TV service, it was not affected. I guess it runs off of different parts of the spectrum. I don't know. But gotta love technology when it does stuff like that. But at least as up not only individual consumers but business customers. They were totally messed up when it comes to their whole system just went. But my friend up in London, Ontario has a different provider, so her service is not affected. But she went into businesses that were affected. So she could not use her card to which is a bummer, but it took a longer time for the Rogers customers up in Ontario and wherever else to get it back up. I don't remember how wide. Now, CR, he lives up in Canada. I think he has videos on that. And there are other Canadian. I guess that's all I'm going to get out of that can. So the caramel I can definitely figure out, and I don't remember a whole lot of the French that I learned in high school, because in college I went back to Spanish. Oh, here is the Pate can. It has a chef's face on there. And I'm assuming this signature is the signature of this chef. That's just a guess. It's raspberry, these jelly bars. These are the best jelly candies you can get. It tastes like they use actual fruit juice in these, not just an artificial flavor. And the American jellied, the gummy candies. These are just downright awesome. Chocolate on the outside. Nice and dark on the inside. Yeah. But it never got melted and then re-solidified. It kept its original shape. And it tastes perfectly fine, just like a 70% cacao bar should taste. And I love these dark chocolates. Well, let's try it. Uh, at the end, it might be a bit deeper. You can see it start to get a little darker right there where I was scraping. So yeah, you could, but what's the sense in that? When the chocolate is perfectly fine otherwise. Had there not been a coffee in here, I had pulled this tea bag, this English breakfast tea, and I would have put the creamer and sugar in it just like they like it over there on the other side of the pond. Well, most people do, I guess. But this will go back into the bag where I keep my other foreign tea bags. And I like that they put a piece of tape on here. You usually don't get that when you get these trash bags out of the full-size stove kits in the RCIR. They usually put a rubber band around it. But to get a trash bag in a ration is pretty darn awesome. So I'm just going to leave it like this. This will be perfect to put into a kit. And these kits, I'm going to leave as is. This goes into a place where I keep all these tissue packets. Things like this are good for not only travel, for emergency use, or a barter item. Yep, it's a good size for that. It would be a good vehicle trash bag, or for your if you're going on a hike and you want something to put your trash in. It's perfectly fine for that. See, this is the box, and this shows how this flat piece is bent up. But all these little, and this is a recess where you would put the fuel tab to light it. And who cannot say that this little matchbox is cute? Because, I mean, you get the Eiffel Tower. You get the Arc de Triomphe. And you still get a fair number of matches in here. And you could probably manage to squeeze a couple more in there if you wanted. Of course, I save these. I have a place where I keep those. I have a place where I keep these and the fuel tabs. So you got 3 of these. They're the same ones that you get with the RCIR. You just get fewer of them, but hey, 3 of these for 1 meal. That's pretty darn good. I mean, if you have to use 2 to heat the food, and then 1 to heat the water for your coffee. See, that's pretty darn good. I think I actually did it on camera before, but the edges on these little handle things and even on the stove plate itself, it's sharp enough where you can rip sparks off a ferro rod. So that, I don't know how many people realize this, that you can do it with this, but yeah, that's pretty darn cool that you can do that. Now, even if you don't use the stove, you got yourself a ferro rod striker. Or you could use it to scrape dust off a piece of fat wood. So to me, that's a pretty darn good multi-purpose item. Yeah, but I wouldn't use that. I wouldn't use this to scrape the chocolate bar. I just don't see the need to do that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that bloom chocolate. It's just a little bit of the separation of some of the fat solids in there, but it does not affect the taste at all. Over a long period of time, it could end up going to complete dust. But even some of those bars that have got the bloom all the way through it but are still solid, they're still perfectly fine. I decided I'm going to go ahead and open up these other crackers. The first two did not break when I opened it up. I think these are actually the saltiest French crackers I've ever had. The ones I've had before have been salty, but not to the degree these are. But, you know, the flavor is still good. They don't taste old. So I have no trouble finishing these off. I think had the pate been more of a smooth pate, it probably would have been easier to eat these crackers with that. But since it was a completely different texture, it was harder to just use the cracker to scoop it up. I just hope more people can have a chance to taste this particular one. Yeah, if they like lasagna, they'll love this ration. I just took a peek at the door, and Pumpkin heard a noise in the hall, so she went to the door to listen for the source of the noise. There is Wide Family Farm. That's okay, you know, lurking is perfectly fine. Loitering is perfectly allowed here. I just acknowledge when someone drops a comment. There's a Pennsylvania prepper in the house. Thanks for dropping in. First time seeing you here. If anyone wants to catch it and the replay after YouTube gets done processing it, which they usually take a few hours to process my streams for some reason, you can see how awesome this lasagna looked. I wish you could have tasted it. But anyway, Pennsylvania Prepper. She's got all kinds of goodies on her channel. Gardening. She has a lot of trees, fruit trees, and bushes. And she does freeze drying. So you got to check her channel out. See all the good stuff she's got going on. And she's got a pretty good setup over there for what she does. I am saving those cilantro seeds because I have a pack that I planted from last year, and I planted those same ones again. So I am saving those ones that you sent me. You know, I went to build up my seed stock. Eventually I will get additional herbs. You know, I love dill, so I would like to plant some dill. I just don't know how good it does in shade, since my north-facing deck is shaded for almost the entire day. In fact, I was out on the deck earlier this afternoon checking out my plants, and my herbs, especially my basil and my basil is doing the best. It's really bushed out. I put a few seeds in each of the pots. Then my cilantro is doing good. And my oregano is kind of short, but I got a good number of leaves. Just that they're still low to the ground. But when I run my hand through the basil, that smell off of there is just, it just smells so good. I should probably go ahead and clip some and weigh the clippings since I'm participating in the shed wars. And then what I intend to do is to dehydrate it so I can store it for long term. Because I live above the ground floor and I don't have my own ground space here, I have to plant in pots. Well, definitely not a pizza parlor. I don't have all of the Italian herbs. The chives that I got going are garlic chives. I don't have regular chives, so last year I only had 2 garlic chives come up, and when I gave some of my herbs to my mom for her birthday last October, I gave her both of the garlic chives that did come up. I gave her a little bit of oregano, a little bit of basil, and a little bit of the cilantro. Yeah, I like the smell of cilantro. And I like the flavor. Yeah, the seed of the cilantro is coriander. I don't know how many people know that, but when you buy coriander seed or powdered coriander, it's actually the seed of the cilantro. Yeah, I have heard that too, but I don't get the soap flavor when I eat cilantro. Oh yeah, that would be good, Mike. That would be good. Uh, Latin cuisine is full of cilantro. It's used a lot. When you go to a food truck and you get one of their street tacos, you usually get cilantro on it, unless you tell them not to put it on. But if I go to a food truck and I want a taco, it's got to have cilantro on it. And of course, even when I was a kid, when we go to a restaurant and they would put a sprig of parsley or a sprig of cilantro on the plate, I would eat it. Some others would, they think it's decorative only, but I ate it. And sometimes I would nip it off of my relatives' plates. If they're sitting right next to me, I would nip their parsley or their cilantro off their plate and eat it. But my maternal grandmother had a very small garden, but we used to love going into it and raiding the peas or anything else that was ready to pick. Wow, I never heard of a snake smelling like a cucumber. That is very interesting. Some people do have a heightened sense of smell. You know, if that's true right now, Spicy, you better better put a barrier between you and that stinker. Yeah, Polish food can have dill in it. In fact, there is a salad that I have a recipe for that calls for dill. It's a cucumber salad called salata miseria. And it's a version of a salted cucumber slice. You slice up cucumbers, you salt them, and then you let it sit for a while. And then I usually let it sit for at least a half hour. And then you drain off as much of the liquid that accumulates as you can. And that takes away a lot of the salt too, so you're not keeping all that salt in. And then you add some dill, some black pepper, some apple cider vinegar, and if you want, you can put red onions in there or white onions. I put red onions in there because I think the color's awesome. And then you just mix that up, and that's your Polish cucumber salad. There are different variations on it. Yeah, I do not have any dill seeds, but I think next time I buy seeds, I'm going to get me some dill. I want to see how that does in part shade. Reviews, they get hungry and they want to go get something. Well, there might be something you could put in place of the cucumber. But I don't know what else would have that. It's like a zucchini, but you have to cook a zucchini. I don't think you can eat zucchini raw. Speaking of pickles, I have not been able to find any jars that actually say Polish dill pickles on them. I haven't actually seen Polish dills in a long time. Wow, I've never tried salata miseria with zucchini. It would be interesting to try it, see how it works. My mom used to grate it when making zucchini bread. I think that's the only time I've actually eaten it raw. Otherwise, it's always been cooked. But it would be interesting to try that. Well, thanks for dropping in. I'm probably going to be closing this out pretty soon anyway, since I ate all the food. But I do this every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. Although on the 31st of this month, I will not be live because I will be at camp. Again, check out Pennsylvania Prepper's channel. She's got lots of goodies there. All kinds of stuff going on. Now, she's got a good variety of stuff. She's been doing all this stuff for years. She's really gotten things nailed down. She's got lots of good ideas for those who are able to take advantage of them. Being in an apartment, I can't do a lot of what she does, but it's still enjoyable to see what other people can do. Yep, I am going again to Lake Icaria, where I go every summer. In fact, we've got the cabins reserved next year, and I think for 2024. Because, you know, campgrounds have been so popular in the past few years that you have to book almost 2 years in advance sometimes if you want to get the spot that you want. And that's what we've had to do. So again, thanks for dropping in. And if you can get a hold of this particular French exercise ration with the beef lasagna, do it. It may be hard to find, but if you can find it, I definitely suggest you do it because it was downright awesome. It's a legit lasagna. None of this Chef Boyardee crap. So anyway, thanks all for watching and catch you on the flip side.